Dear students, today we are going to learn about the ionic equilibrium, chapter 3. Now, before moving to ionic equilibrium, you must know about the electrolytes. Now, what are electrolytes? Electrolytes are the substance which gives rise to ions when dissolved in an aqueous solution. That means the substance split up into cations and anions in an aqueous solution. Some electrolytes will split up into ions completely, while some electrolytes split up into partially or to a less extent. In case of electrolytes ionizing partially, there exists the equilibrium between the ions and the unionized molecules. Such type of equilibrium in which ions are involved is known as ionic equilibrium. Ionic equilibrium is a type of chemical equilibrium which we have studied in the 11th standard. Now these electrolytes are also capable of conducting the current, but our topic of interest is only in the ionization of electrolytes. The examples of electrolytes are HCl, NaOH, NaCl. Thus, the ionic equilibrium is the equilibrium between the ions and the unionized molecules in an aqueous solution. Now, what are non-electrolytes? Non-electrolytes are the substance which do not ionize and remain in an unionized form or undissociated form in an aqueous solution. The examples for the non-electrolytes are sugar and alcohol. Now there are two types of electrolytes, strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes are the substance which ionizes completely in an aqueous solutions. They are known as strong electrolytes. Examples for strong electrolytes are strong acids, strong bases and salts. Here is the representation of the ionization of strong electrolytes. A gives B plus C. Here B and C represents the ions while A represents the undissociated molecules. Now weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes are the substance which dissociate to a smaller extent in an aqueous solution. For example, weak acids and weak bases. Here is the representation for the acids. A gives B plus C. Now let us familiar with some examples of acids and bases which we come across in daily life, because the acids and bases are nothing but strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Here is the list of the substances which acts as an acids and bases. For example, HCl, hydrochloric acid, is present in the gastric juice. Acetic acid is present in vinegar, or vinegar is a 5% acetic acid. Then citric acid is present in the citrus fruits like oranges, lemons and lime. Oxalic acid is present in the spinach. Tartaric acid is present in tamarind and crepes. Lactic acid is present in the yogurt. Salicylic acid is used to make shampoo. Also the acetyl salicylic acid is used to make the aspirin, that is the medicine. Ascorbic acid is present in the amla or other citrus fruits along with citric acid. Ammonia is used for the household cleaner. These are the bases. Sodium hydroxide is used to make soaps. Magnesium hydroxide is also known as milk of magnesia and it is used in the antacids. Sodium carbonate is known as baking soda and sodium carbonate is known as washing soda. Now up till now you may have learned about the general properties of acids and bases and the classical theories of acids and bases. Now we are supposed to learn the conceptual theories of acids and bases. The very first theory was put forth by Arrhenius and known as Arrhenius theory of acids and bases. According to Arrhenius theory of acids and bases, acid is a substance which contain hydrogen and which give rise to H plus ion in an aqueous solution. Here is the example for the acid HCl aqueous, it gives H plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. Also acetic acid aqueous gives CH3COO minus aqueous plus H plus aqueous. So these substances, they gives rise to H plus ion in an aqueous solution, hence they are Arrhenius acids. Now according to Arrhenius, base is a substance that contains OH minus ion and it produces OH minus ion in an aqueous solution. Example are here: sodium hydroxide aqueous, it gives Na plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. Another example is ammonium hydroxide aqueous, it gives NH4 plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. Now these examples of acids and bases, they are described by Arrhenius, and Arrhenius theory is useful to describe the compounds as an acids and bases in their aqueous solution only. Also there are many compounds which may not contain H plus ion or OH minus ion, but still they act as an acid or a base. For example, ammonia does not contain OH minus ion, but still it acts as a base. Then we go for the next theory, is known as the Bronsted-Lowry theory. According to Bronsted and Lowry theory, acid is a substance that donates a proton to another substance. Acid is a substance that donates a proton to another substance, hence the important word here is proton, that is H plus. According to Bronsted theory, base is a substance that accepts a proton from another substance. So proton, if it is accepted from another substance, then it is a base. Example here is HCl plus NH3 ammonia, it gives NH4 plus Cl minus chloride ion. Here now HCl donates its proton and acts as an acid, while ammonia accepts that proton and acts as a base. In doing so, they form NH4 plus Cl minus. Hence, NH4 plus also have a tendency to donate its proton and acts as an acid, and while Cl minus can accept the proton and acts as a base, but in the reverse reaction. Overall in the reaction, HCl is an acid, ammonia is a base, ammonium ion NH4 plus is an acid, and Cl minus is a base. Now for the convenience, we are writing acid 1, base 2, and ammonium is again the acid 2 and Cl minus is the base 1. Hence there are two acid and base pairs are formed. HCl is the acid 1 while Cl minus is the base 1, this is one pair. Another pair is ammonia, that is base 2, and NH4 plus is a acid 2. Now let us learn what is meant by acid and base pair. Now here is the reaction, another example of water and ammonia to give OH minus ion and NH4 plus ion. Water donates its proton and acts as an acid, while ammonia accepts that proton and acts as a base. In doing so, they form OH minus ion and NH4 plus. OH minus ion will act as a base by accepting the proton, and NH4 plus ion donates the proton and acts as an acid. Now in the diagram or in the images, the red images, water and OH minus, this is one acid and base pair, while ammonia and NH4 plus, the blue image, is another acid and base pair. So these acid and base pair are formed. So overall the products of Bronsted acid and base reactions are nothing but acids and bases. Now these acid and base pair are termed as a conjugate acid and base pair. Now let us learn what is mean by conjugate acid and base pair. Now in the reaction, the same example I am discussing here, water reacts with ammonia. Look at the reaction to give OH minus ion plus NH4 plus ion. Now here water is the acid, it donates the proton to form OH minus. Now OH minus is a conjugate base. Ammonia will accept the proton and form NH4 plus, hence NH4 plus, that is ammonium ion, is a conjugate acid of the base. Thus in the Lowry acid base reactions, H2O and OH minus, these are the conjugate acid and base pair, and another conjugate acid and base pair is ammonia and NH4 plus are formed. So conjugate acid and base pair is the pair of an acid and base just differing by a single proton. Now hence OH minus, that is the conjugate base, look at the images here, the red one, the OH minus conjugate base can be formed from the water just by removing the proton. So we can easily identify the conjugate base from the acid just by removing the proton. Also we can find out the conjugate acid from the base just by addition of a proton. The blue images, NH3, by addition of a proton it forms conjugate acid NH4 plus. So this way we can find out or we can identify the conjugate base from the given acid or conjugate acid from the given base. Thus Bronsted concept of acid and base, it involves a variety of compounds which either acts as an acid or a base. Also this concept is independent of the solvent. Now we will go for the next small topic, that is known as amphoteric nature of water. In presence of a base, water donates the proton and acts as an acid. So water, see the reaction here, water plus ammonium ion NH3, it gives OH minus ion plus NH4 plus. Here water will act as an acid because it donates its proton to ammonia. Now what is the behavior of the water in presence of acid? So in presence of acid, actually water accepts a proton and acts as a base. So in presence of acid like HCl, see the reaction, water plus HCl to give H3O plus ion plus Cl minus ion. So here water will accept a proton from the acid HCl and acts as a base. Such dual behavior of water is known as amphoteric nature of water. Here water acts as an acid also as a base when placed in a different environment, hence it is amphoteric in nature. Just like water, there are other examples of also. For example, HSO4 minus hydrogen sulfate, it can accept a proton and acts as a base. Also it donates its proton and acts as an acid. HCO3 minus also accepts the proton and acts as a base while it donates its proton and acts as an acid. Now we will go for the next theory, that is called as the Lewis theory of acids and bases. Lewis theory of acid and bases. According to Lewis theory, acid is any species that accepts a pair of electrons is called as a Lewis acid. So the species or the substance means the atom, ion or molecule which accept now a pair of electrons, 2 electrons, then that species is termed as a acid. Here the example of cations like H plus, then Cu2 plus, Ni2 plus, Fe3 plus, NO2 plus. These cations acts as a Lewis acid because they contain the empty orbital in their valence shell. Hence the lone pair of electron or pair of electron can be easily accepted in these cations. Also the molecules like AlCl3, FeCl3, BF3, their central atom contains incomplete octet. Hence the pair of electron can be easily accepted in these molecules and they act as a Lewis acid. According to Lewis, base is any species that donates a pair of electrons is called Lewis base. Example for Lewis bases are Cn minus, Cl minus, F minus, NH3, H2O and Cu. So these molecules or atoms, they donate their pair of electrons and they act as a Lewis base. Here is the example of Lewis acid base reaction. H plus acts as a Lewis acid because by removing the electron, H plus having the empty orbital, in that orbital the electrons are easily accepted and hence H plus acts as a Lewis acid. While ammonia is having the lone pair of electrons, this lone pair of electron is not taking part in hybridization or not involved in any kind of bonding. Hence ammonia can transfer this pair of electrons to H plus and acts as a Lewis base. By doing this, they form the bond between hydrogen and nitrogen. This is represented with two blue dots, or it can be presented by a single line. So the speciality of the bond is here that it is contributed by only one atom, that is nitrogen, and it is shared between the two, that is hydrogen and nitrogen. So it is somewhat different than the normal covalent type of bond, and it is termed as a coordinate covalent type of bond. So the product of Lewis acid and base reactions is the formation of coordinate covalent type of bond. Now the another example here is BF3 acts as a Lewis acid because it has an empty 2pz orbital and the lone pair of electrons can be easily accepted in this orbital. Look at the image here, the boron trifluoride molecule. The three fluorine bonds are at an angle 120 degree and boron is having, BF3 is having sp2 hybridization in which 2pz orbital is not involved in the hybridization, which is remain empty, and in that orbital the ammonia, which acts as a base, it transfers the pair of electrons and the bond is formed between boron and nitrogen. The bond formed between boron and nitrogen is a coordinate covalent type of bond because it is contributed by nitrogen, but it is not belonging to boron only. It is shared between the boron and nitrogen. Hence, it is a coordinate covalent type of bond. Also, this Lewis concept is useful to explain the formation of transition metals or the coordination complex, where the central metal ion acts as a Lewis acid, where its orbitals are empty and they can be easily accepted, the electron pairs can be easily accepted and they act as an acid. While the ligands donates the pair of electrons to the central metal ion atom and they act as a Lewis bases. Now we go for the small topic that is called as the ionization of acids. Before that, the acids are actually categorized in the strong acid and strong bases and weak acid and weak bases. The strong acid and strong bases are categorized in the same category as their ionization is similar, while weak acid and weak bases are grouped in another category where their ionization is always similar. Now here the example of strong acid is HCl. HCl donates its proton H plus and form H plus and Cl minus, or HCl ionizes to give H plus and Cl minus. Now the ionization is represented by the single arrow pointing in the forward direction, which indicates that the reaction is complete and the ions will not combine to give back the HCl. The example for strong bases is NaOH. It ionizes to give Na plus ion and OH minus ion. Again here the ionization is represented by the single arrow which is pointing only in the forward direction, which indicate that the ionization is complete and ions will not have tendency to combine and give back the molecules of NaOH. Hence in the solution of either HCl or NaOH, that is strong acids and bases, there exists only the ions, that is H plus, Cl minus, or Na plus and OH minus, and there will not be any existence of molecules of HCl or the molecules of NaOH at all. The example of strong acids are HCl, HNO3 nitric acid, HBr, HI hydroiodic acid and perchloric acid HClO4. The examples of strong bases are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, lithium hydroxide LiOH, cesium hydroxide CSOH. Now learn about the ionization of weak acids and weak bases. Here is the example of weak acids. Acetic acid gives acetate ion plus H plus ion. Now here the ionization is represented with the double-headed single arrow. Single-headed double arrow, sorry. It means that ionization is incomplete or never complete, and the ions have always tendency to give back the molecules of acetic acid. Also, the other example for weak bases is ammonium hydroxide, which gives NH4 plus and OH minus ion. Here ionization is also represented by the double arrow single-headed, and it means that the ions have a tendency to combine and give back the molecules of NH4OH. The example of weak acids are formic acid, HCOOH, HCN, HF, H2CO3, carbonic acid and H2S. While the example of strong bases are ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH, magnesium hydroxide, CuOH twice. So these are the ionization of strong acids and strong bases, and weak acids and weak bases. Now you know that equilibrium exists only in case of weak acids and weak bases only. Now let us learn about the dissociation of weak acids and weak bases. Here the Ha represents the weak acid and it gives H plus ion and A minus ion in an aqueous solution. So Ha here is any general weak acid. It dissociates to give H plus ion and the anion part, that is A minus ion. Now for this reversible reaction we can apply the law of mass action and we get the equation Ka. Here Ka is equal to concentration of H plus ion into concentration of A minus ion divided by the concentration of Ha, that is the equation number 1. Here K stands for equilibrium constant and A stands for weak acid, hence Ka is the dissociation constant for weak acid. Now the dissociation of weak base is like this. So BOH will dissociate. BOH is any general weak base which dissociates to give B plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. By applying the law of mass action, we get the equation Kb is equal to B plus concentration of B plus into concentration of OH minus divided by the concentration of BOH. This is equation number 2. Now one small terms here is alpha is called as a degree of dissociation. Alpha is defined as the fraction of total number of molecules undergoing dissociation. Alpha is nothing but the number of moles undergoing dissociation divided by the total number of moles present in the solution. Percent dissociation is given by alpha into 100, or percent dissociation divided by 100 is nothing but alpha. Alpha is always 1 for strong electrolytes because the number of moles undergoing dissociation are same as the total number of moles present. But in case of weak electrolyte or weak acids and bases, alpha is always less than 1 because number of moles undergoing dissociation are always less than the total number of moles. Hence numerator is less than the denominator. The value of alpha is always less. So these are the terms we are supposed to be used in the next equation or derivation of Ostwald dilution law, which we are going to derive but in the next video. Till then, good wishes and take care.